Good morning and namaste everyone. Sorry for the technical delay. I hope I am visible and audible. Am I visible and audible for all? Am I visible and audible to all? May I know, please? So, today I have come on Facebook Live for a special purpose. It has been very common now in this lockdown period. We know that we are in a crisis, at least a man-made crisis or nature-made crisis, let it be. But we are all in a crisis for the last more than 1 year, and we know that we are absolutely in dilemma, confusion, depression, anxiety, etc. So, because of all this, being practitioners of any medical system, the greatest challenge for me, as far as I am concerned, the greatest challenge in dealing with patients is that there are several travel restrictions. There are restrictions to travel from within the state. There were restrictions before, and now there are interstate restrictions, and people who are abroad cannot reach us for many reasons. So because of these travel restrictions, it is being very common now that people demand for online consultation. So I have been getting requests for online consultation for at least since the beginning of lockdown itself. I have been receiving, my mailbox is loaded by mails, requests. Not only me, I am sure all the Ayurveda practitioners, all the medical practitioners who are here will be receiving like that request for online consultation. So today I am here to share about the problems, the major problems in Ayurveda while doing online consultation. I know that there are many people who will disagree with me in this, and I welcome you also to share your views so that I can clarify that from my point of view. And this is not just an opinion which I share here. This is the exact picture, the exact perspective of scientific perspective of Ayurveda which I am sharing here. So don't consider it, or please don't devalue it as my personal opinion. It's not an opinion which I am giving. I am ready to clarify and substantiate on what basis I am telling this, because over these days it is my greatest leisure activity to discuss, clarify with people who disagree with me. Nowadays I love to talk to people who disagree with me, because people, the more and more disagreement comes, I am getting more and more chances to clarify things. So disagreement is not a problem. Disagreement is a welcome thing only, as far as it is not personalized, and we have nothing to discuss personalized here. It's a very key point today in Ayurvedic clinical practice. So the very first thing which I would like to share is that Ayurveda is science-based medicine. It is a medical practice oriented on science, and science, I mean the science of Ayurveda itself. Okay, so it is a medical practice which is completely oriented on the diagnostic and treatment principles of Ayurveda. So there are very specific. So for public outsiders, you may be thinking that Ayurveda is like herbal medicine. Any person can directly choose herbs or spices or kitchen practices or grandma's medicines or any book which is published online or offline. No, there are several therapeutic formularies which are being published by several Ayurveda manufacturing companies, which any person can buy and use by self, like they will be writing this medicine in that diseases. So like that people can search that and buy. So people consider all these as greatest blessings, because they blindly think that Ayurveda, when whatever way it is used, it is safe for one's life and it will protect. But this is not the fact. Ayurveda as such is not recommended to be based over the counter except for the basic guidelines which I will share with you in the case of infections. Already one video is there of mine. So apart from that, if you are taking medicines, choosing medicines based on online advices, based on these books, all these therapeutic formularies, etc., there are potent risks. Why? Because the diagnosis, differential diagnosis, estimation of prognosis, everything differs such a lot from modern medicine in the case of Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, the diagnosis is very much unique to Ayurveda. So whatever diagnosis you bring in your hand from an expert of Western medicine, it is not the diagnosis of the scientific practitioner of Ayurveda. That is point number one. Okay, so don't think that I am having all the diagnostic reports, I am having all the opinions of doctors. Why don't you listen and treat me? I am giving you ready-made question, you just give me the answer. Like that, it is not possible. Why? Because for every patient, we have to discover the diagnosis. In Ayurveda, there is nothing called COVID-19. In Ayurveda, there is nothing called pneumonia. So everything is there. Pathology is there. What is the pathology of infection? What is the pathology of pneumonia? What is the pathology of abscess? Everything is there. For the first time, SBABA, Science-Based, Evidence-Based Ayurveda, we have deciphered the diagnostic principles and treatment principles for infective fevers in Ayurveda. So with the grace of God, we have been doing research on this, and myself and my husband, Dr. Rajkumar. So we were doing research on this, and for the first time in Ayurveda, we have deciphered, or we have done intense basic and applied research for at least 12 years and more, and developed diagnostic and treatment principles, streamlined, I would say. It's not discover, it is already there in Ayurvedic science, but everyone is doing in their own way, like medicine oriented approach, tradition oriented approach. What forefathers were doing, like they will be continuing that. Ayurveda doctors will be taught mostly by tradition oriented approach, forefather led approach, etc. So but we need science led approach. So science is recommending certain guidelines and principles. We have to apply the tools, and we have to understand infections in Ayurvedic scientific perspective. So there is no topic in BAMS regarding comprehension of scientific comprehension of infection and inflammatory diseases for Ayurveda physicians, and of course management. So this chapter is opened by science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda, and we have sent a proposal in 2018 to CCRAS, Central Council of Research in Ayurveda and Siddha. We requested them, you just give us a one-day symposium. We are ready to explain in 2018, long before COVID emerged. We are ready to explain the diagnostic and treatment principles, and with these principles, we can diagnose pinpointedly. It's not like a doctor in Kerala diagnoses something and doctor in Madhya Pradesh in another way, someone in another way. We know that one patient at one time will present in one status only. So it is not possible to do variable diagnosis for the same patient in the same situation by different doctors. Why it is happening? Because it is because of incomplete, incorrect knowledge. So for me, it is one thing, infection is something. For another doctor, it is something else. It is not possible. There should be a standardized diagnosis. So science means that. Science means standardized principles and logics. That is what constitutes the science. We should be able to explain the cause mechanisms with respect to infections and inflammatory diseases. So this has been done by SBABA. So what I mean to say is that when we treat infections for blindly by empirical treatment, medicines like herbs, medicines, we have immense number of medicines and formulations explained in the chapter of fever in Ayurveda. But remember, the chapter of fever in Ayurveda, in our main treatises, Ashtanga Hridaya, Charaka and Susruta, are not a therapeutic formulary. We are given pinpointed diagnostic and treatment principles to understand a patient with infective fever. I repeat, to understand a patient with infective fever and reverse his condition. So it is not, there is no COVID-19 in Ayurveda. In scientific Ayurveda, there is no COVID-19. We are having infective diseases, we are having scientific comprehension of infective diseases, and a diabetic patient with COVID-19 differs from a hypothyroid patient with COVID-19, which again differ from an ulcerative colitis patient with COVID-19. So it is not like we cannot say that COVID-19 is equal to Sudarshana Adivadi. COVID-19 is equal to Lakshmi Vilasarasa. COVID-19 is equal to Dashamula Kaditraya. We can never say like that. So what people are expecting are like this. You give us medicines, we will start. So medicine is not something which is so silly. So what we can do is, we are having, first of all, I don't think that Government of India is knowing that Ayurveda is science-based medicine. So when we are given 1,000 patients or 2,000 patients to us directly, if government is calling us, if government is giving us a platform, you just show, you prove at your own risk. If at least 25 patients in the beginning, what is happening? Now Delhi needs you. Just come over to Delhi. We are ready to give you patients. And if they are monitoring what is happening for at least 1 week or 2 weeks, things will become very clear. We can save many patients by these diagnostic principles. We can say for sure that it is not empirical. Why? Because it is based on cause, mechanism, effect, proven diagnostic and treatment principles in Ayurveda. So sometimes we need not be, there are diagnostic principles for viral fevers which is developed by Dr. Rajkumar, pioneer of SBEBA. So in the same way, there are diagnostic and treatment principles for urinary infection, upper respiratory tract infection, then any other sort of gastroenteritis, any other sort of infections and inflammatory diseases. So we are not treating by trial and error medications. And every patient is the cause mechanisms by means of which he developed an upper respiratory infection. Whether it is a complication or whether it is another disease, like everything has to be known very systematically. Cause mechanisms of the disease can be explored only by direct consultation. Suppose you are having COVID-19. How and why you developed COVID-19? It's a viral infection for sure, but how and why you developed, your internal cause circumstances, your external cause circumstances, what foods you were taking on the previous day and the day before, and what food you have to take from today onwards till your recovery period. Everything, even a single matter, simplest thing which you consider is highly important thing in science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda. Science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda is conscientious, explicit, judicious interpretation of science-based evidences. We are having evidences, inbuilt evidences in the science. Inbuilt evidences means principles of diagnosis and treatment explained in the science, which help us to understand the cause mechanisms of a disease in a patient. This can be done only directly, direct consultation. So we can do better service and best service if we are doing direct consultation. Over phone, there are many chances. If you miss the fact that the patient had developed this thing before 20 days and after that this fever developed, you might be taking case starting from the fever only. So that disease might be the strong link with the present status of the patient. So such things are easy to miss. And diabetes, and another thing, comorbidities. It is not possible to give Ayurveda medicines by leaving aside comorbidities. So if people are having comorbidities, it's really important that the integral status of the subject is to be estimated by the scientific principles of Ayurveda. So integral status. The patient is having diabetes, his HbA1c is 8.2, he is on anti-diabetic drugs, he is on insulin sometimes, he is having some joint pain issues for which he had HCQ, he might be having some autoimmune disease. So HCQ history is there. Right now he is using only painkillers for joint pain and he is calling you for Ayurveda treatment of COVID. and you are giving two medicines. It is utter cheating. I would call it cheating and not treating. We can never treat a patient like that. We should be able to, in Ayurveda, treatment means taking responsibility of the entire morbidity of the subject. We cannot treat symptoms or we cannot treat one disease alone by Ayurveda in a patient. We will have to we will have to aim to reverse the morbidity in the patient, which is an integral sum of all the diseases in the patient. All are interconnected. So when SBBA methodology, this is the best advantage of SBBA methodology, we are able to integrate multiple pathologies. So when we are treating many patients like this. Not only me, all the SBBA practitioners, the training, all the people who have undergone training under us in this methodology, they are confident in adopting a diabetic patient with COVID-19, an asthma patient with COVID-19, bronchial allergic asthma patient with COVID-19. They are treating not by continuing inhalers. If they are doing that, it is not SBBA practice. So what we are doing is, we are integrating the different pathologies in the same subject, and it is really, really important that after the right step is started, what is happening in the coming hours, we should be knowing. So just imagine how a doctor can be peacefully staying at home, giving some medicine, and just see, you are not the only one patient, means whoever is asking for, there will be 10 or 20 or hundreds of patients like that who need very close and constant monitoring and follow up. In all these aspects, we know that most of the people today are on multiple drugs. So we are stopping all these drugs. We cannot do without stopping all these. And we are stopping all these drugs, and we are doing exactly something intended to reverse the infection. So we should be taking responsibility of his blood sugar, his BP level, his vitals. Vitals means pulse rate, heart rate, respiratory rate, all these things. If the patient is on oxygen, his oxygen saturation, how he is feeling without oxygen, everything. Maybe if I am doing for one patient, I may get hundreds more. So my situation, you just imagine how much in stress I will be, because I am not seeing any of you. I am not seeing any of you, and I am taking responsibility of all the disease conditions of all of you. So this is something like, I may go mad after the lockdown gets over, and if something happens, I am getting mad or not is different issue. I will not do that also. But if something happens to a single person, hypertension, BP shoot up, somewhere he had done. So another thing is that it is not by medication alone that a person recovers. He requires scientific diet and regimen. So in SBBA, we are advocating scientific nutrition schedule based on a person's unique cause circumstances. Suppose a person is having infection, he is having history of diabetes, he is having a history of some other BP, hypertension. So we are giving scientific diet and regimen in such a way to reverse all these aspects. So even the ingredients of the scientific diet matter a lot. If some wrong ingredient is added to it for improving taste, or you may think that it's just very little, I added only a drop of milk to the tea. But if milk is an unscientific ingredient, it is poison for the subject in that status. So we know that when a drop of poison is added to milk, milk turns out to be a poison. Will you drink milk with one drop of poison? You will call it as poison itself. In the same way, any minormost fraction of unscientific ingredient to his status in the food will turn out to be a potent poison for his condition. So after 1 or 2 hours, when you get back to us, you will say that patient is not feeling fine. He has been following your instructions properly, but he is not feeling fine. So we can understand somewhere something went wrong. If it is my advice that is wrong, I will be able to understand in the first 5 minutes itself. First 5 minutes to 30 minutes itself, for sure. If the medical advice, medical decision is wrong. But if it is dietary instructions that are not followed correctly, any of this interference can happen. or if the person in between a fever hike happened. In Ayurveda, recovery period, fever recovery period, metabolism will boost up. So when metabolism is boosted up, naturally body temperature can rise for a while. In people who are having very low immune response, when we are activating immunity, sometimes during that metabolism period, the temperature can rise up, and afterwards complete sweating will happen. These are all an interval of few minutes, 2 hours, that's all. So but that intermediate period, if the patient thinks that temperature is very high, nowadays we are having a habit to check the reading, temperature reading, thermometer always, every half an hour. Oxygen saturation thermometer, oxygen saturation thermometer. Like that we are going. This is not the way. We should be evaluating our hunger status, our enthusiasm, whether we are feeling more weak or whether we are feeling active, and also whether we are having our drainage mechanism is normal, whether we are eliminating stool properly, urine properly, whether we are able to get up, we are able to sit up on the bed by less tiredness. Fever is high, but we are feeling less tired. Less tiredness is more important than high temperature. So we were having joint pains. Now no joint pains. Fever, temperature is high, but no joint pains are there now. I am feeling better. So that is more important as per the recovery science of Ayurveda, provided the patient is on science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda guidelines. So during that period, if the patient is taking paracetamol, oh, my temperature is 103 degree Fahrenheit, I am taking paracetamol. So I am following SBBAS, but when temperature shot up, we have to control, no? So I took one paracetamol, and you are not telling that to me. It is that paracetamol itself is a great interference to SBBA guidelines. And now again metabolism, immune status, immunity has to activate again and do the entire things, stimulate metabolism, etc. So this is the greatest limitation of doing online treatment. So we will not be able to know your status. We will not be, you are telling us some diagnosis, right? You are telling us when this developed, how this developed. You may be on another medications. You may be on entirely different diet, entirely different regimen. We have to teach everything to you. Nowadays, you are not having any idea about scientific diet. So that is why I made the video of COVID-19. So all that we can do is, Ayurveda does not, SBEBA is Ayurveda as it is, science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda. So SBEBA does not have COVID-19. SBEBA have infective fevers. So what I have shared with you is the common general first aid measures. General first aid measures which you have to do from the very start of any respiratory infection or any infection with or without fever. Suppose you may be having running nose only. You may be having a feeling that you are going to get fever. You may be having joint pains. You may be having something back pain or something else. Whatever it is. If you are starting that first aid measures alone, daily I am receiving, I have been receiving so many mails of gratitude from people all over India and abroad that they are recovering by these first aid measures, non-medication first aid measures of SBEBA. So with that measures itself, people are getting saved. So that doesn't require any medicine or anything. But still, if you are not improving by following the scientific diet, let me tell you, the scientific diet and regimen is going to protect you only. Suppose your tiredness is there, your fever is there, still you are protected. You are protected in the sense your immune status. The scientific diet and regimen of SBEBA is designed in such a way that it will protect your immune status. Your immune status, metabolism, circulation, etc. are immensely protected by the SBEBA first aid of infective fever. So by adopting that itself, that I am sending message to every one of you. You just start following video guidelines, and when you start video guidelines, don't skip anything. You take time patiently, you listen. There are people who write down the points and follow that correctly. So you have to write down the points, what all things are to be taken, what all what water is to be taken, everything you have to follow as such. So if you are following as such, then definitely for sure you will start the science experiencing better improvement in your case. And further, if you require any service of SBBA, you will have to directly contact SBBA practitioner of your nearby locality. That also list cannot be published. Why? Because we were requesting government since the last 6 to 8 years at least that this should be called upon for a discussion to be incorporated, not in just incorporation. Our BAMS syllabus, MD syllabus is to be oriented based on science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda. Because as I told, it is not updated now. Right now, Ayurveda doctors are not professionally provided knowledge and skills to understand infective fevers in Ayurveda. This is the real situation. It's very pathetic. People will tell Jwara is explained in Ayurveda and we all are adopting Jwara guidelines. It is very, very superficial. Adopting Jwara guidelines, Jwara is having 20 pages elaborated explanations in the text regarding variable cause mechanisms by means of which an infective fever can develop in any person of any period. Even future infective fevers of future also can be explored by the Ayurvedic cause mechanisms which are explained in Jwara chapters of Ayurvedic treatises. That doesn't mean that we are automatically getting equipped to diagnose and treat an infective fever. We are all having limited intelligence. We need accurate tools. We need accurate comprehension regarding how to understand an infective fever. Dengue fever is different from COVID-19, which is again different from malaria. So we should be knowing exactly how to understand particular again urinary tract infection, entirely different condition. So entire Jwara principles cannot be applied in one person, and Jwara medicine's trial and error is happening today. And some people tell that it is Janavadodhamsa, it is caused by impure environment, impure atmosphere. It is not like that. It is not like that. It is not a Janavadodhamsa roga. So these things, clear-cut understanding will happen only if the curriculum is oriented. We need today very clear-cut comprehension. We means Ayurveda doctors require clear-cut comprehension on infective diseases, inflammatory diseases, metabolic diseases, immune diseases. All these are developed by science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda. And it is already published in Unveiling the Truths in Ayurveda by Dr. Rajkumar. So we have been requesting our CCRAS, Central Council of Research in Ayurveda and Siddha. Sir, please consider this. Please call us for a one-day symposium. We are ready to explain. We are ready to take responsibility. First, all the faculties require intense training in all these aspects, and curriculum has to be modified. We need professionals, scientific professionals who can tackle infections today. We know that we are suffering only because we lack scientific practitioners of Ayurveda. Otherwise, Ayurveda medical associations would have, in the same way as IMA wrote to Honorable Prime Minister, Ayurveda medical associations would have taken responsibility and written a letter to Prime Minister. Sir, we are ready, sir. Please give us independent platform. We are ready to deal with the cases, infective fevers, and we are ready to provide data before you. So this science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda community is ready. So we have sent letters to Honorable Prime Minister. We have sent letters to policymakers, everyone, and we are yet to hear from them. So the matter is simple. When your dear Ayurveda doctors, all my colleagues, you are considering, many of you are considering me as an enemy. Just understand that it is nothing between individual and individual. When we do a treatment over phone, when we guide a patient over phone, the problem is that if the patient is recovering, all fine, but how the patient is recovering matters a lot. Whether it is recovery itself is also important. So if the patient is not recovering, worsening, the problem may be the patient, the bystander will not tell anything to you. He may be obliged to you. But the problem is that ultimately the people who are receiving will get a faulty idea that this is what ultimately Ayurveda is. Ayurveda has lot of limitations. We tried treatment from that Ayurveda doctor, who is an expert, but still ultimately we had to take him to ICU. So this kind of, you are not able to take ultimate responsibility of the patient online. So if you are, this all I meant giving medications. When you are giving medications to patients online, it is impossible to give like that. So this is why I am telling SBEBA guidelines can be implemented all over India, first of all. With the help of government, with the support of government, we can give guidelines just like mask, wearing mask, hand washing, hand sanitizers, etc. We can give the guidelines on a national platform. Just like when we call someone, we are hearing about all these things. In the same way, even in the phone, we can propagate these things. Basic first aid measures. We are ready. But even by doing that, even by systematically following that, you are protected to a great extent. But this cannot be. Treatment is different from first aid. First aid can be done like that. But treatment means, that's what I told. Diagnosis in Ayurveda is entirely different from diagnosis. Any disease, not infection alone, any disease, diagnosis, it doesn't mean, a name doesn't mean anything for us. Let it be anything. A name doesn't mean anything to us. For us, cause mechanisms in that particular subject which initiate the disease, that we are exploring on our own. We are given the tools and methods by the science. SBEBA has developed systematic methodology, evidence triad approach. We have developed a systematic decision making methodology to be adopted in all diseases. So a physician has to be trained on that. Nobody can practice SBEBA themselves. They need specific training in these methodologies. Then only they can practice SBEBA. So right now we cannot give a long list of SBEBA practitioners because we are not sure of many people. Otherwise we have to do some certificate courses. But SBEBA cannot be learned as a certificate course. Why? Because in colleges everything is taught wrong. Everything is educated wrong. Only science is taught. But the application of science is not taught. So unless the application is taught, application is trained, nobody can practice SBEBA. So because no methodologies were there, that's what I'm telling. The physicians over India who treat for viral fevers, Ayurveda physician, my opinion will be different from the other practitioners' opinion, which will be again different from other practitioners. What is infective fever? You ask 10 doctors of Ayurveda, 10 of them will give you different opinions. But science is not an opinion. There are standardized principles to reach conclusive evidences regarding what is COVID-19 in Ayurveda. So such a kind of, I just gave an example, COVID-19, any infective fever. So this is most important. And inventing or discovering the cause mechanisms of the patients can be done only by SBEBA practitioners. So this is the main thing which I wanted to tell you. So online treatment, if doctors are doing, I am not telling that you should stop. Who am I to tell that? Now I am sure many people will be having enmity towards me. But the problem is that when the patient is not recovering, understand that ultimately our system is going to be blamed. You are giving some herbs and spices to the patients. Patients are getting worse. Ultimately, Ayurveda is like that. Okay, you will not be in the scene. You are safe. Ayurveda is like that. Finally, ultimately, Ayurveda will be blamed only because of your negligence and ignorance. Ayurveda is ultimately going to be blamed. So I don't mind speaking the truth because I don't mind myself. Okay, whatever you care of me, whatever you think of me, I don't mind. You can call me a very cruel person. You can call me an antisocial person. I don't mind. What I am caring for is ultimately the well-being of the society by this science and the accurate exposure of the science. Science of Ayurveda doesn't deserve to be insulted. Science of Ayurveda doesn't deserve to be standing as a supportive therapy. It's not a supportive therapy. People deserve much better than this. People deserve to be saved by the system of Ayurveda. So this is possible only by the practice of science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda, and online practice of medications have so much of risk. So this is what I wanted to many days I have been thinking of sharing all this with you, but some or other reasons it had to be postponed. And nowadays I'm getting so many requests for treatments from many cases. So right now I'll just give you an example also. Dr. Priyanka Arora, she might be listening. Her father, I took the only case online treatment is her father. Her father was in a very serious condition in the hospital. She was not in close contact with me, and she had not attended any SBBA Wisdom Series seminars or webinars. One day she called. She was a good friend, and she is a good friend of mine now also. She called me and told, Madam, my father is being brought home. You please take care of him. You just guide me. I'll be thankful to you if you guide me over phone. I got very much shocked and upset. What I can do? She had trusted me. She had brought her father from ICU. Her father in a very pity condition. She had trusted SBEBA and brought her father back home without asking me. If I ask her, I will say it is risky because I am not seeing the patient. She didn't ask me also. After doing everything, she is asking me. One morning she called me and told, you please help my father. I'll be obliged to you. What I can say? I got very much upset because this is not something playing, right? I'm going to play with a person's life, and if something happens, her father and my father are same to me. I cannot take a big responsibility like that. I told her it is impossible to guide over phone. She told me, no, please, I will follow exactly what you are telling. I will give you the direct documentation of everything. I will report to you every 2 hours like that. Vitals, everything. And first and the last time I took responsibility for her father. So when I started the viral fever infection treatment principles of SBEBA, I started with that. His CRP level was above 180 or 160. So when I started SBEBA guidelines of viral fevers, within 48 hours I thought I will check CRP again. Patient was having on oxygen. He was not able to breathe on him, and he was very lethargic. He was not able to get upon his own on the bed, and he was not able to take any sort of food also. Very difficult to feed also. So such a condition, he was on the bed. So when I started viral fever SBBA guidelines, patient's lethargy got improved little bit, and little bit oral intake was possible. But after 2 days, I wanted to check with CRP again, because CRP will shoot up and come down very fast. Okay, so I asked her, let us see CRP first. So when CRP was checked, it was, yes, first time it was 160, and after 48 hours it was 180 something. She got back to me, Madam, I am very much scared. It is now increasing 180. I don't know what is wrong. What I should do? I told that your own risk you can do if you want to show any practitioners, because they have taken some legal step to get her father discharged from there, I think, with the help of her husband. So now in this condition I cannot see also. You can do it, your own decision you can make. So she told, let's wait. So I asked again about the entire history of the condition, and she told me her father had a history of urinary tract infection before. Many times urinary tract infection, even though COVID-19 is said to be positive, RT-PCR is positive, and all the CT signs are strongly positive. Pneumonia is there, oxygen saturation is poor. She told me that he was having history of urinary tract infection. So that he had a kidney cyst also, calculus also, if my memory is right, calculus, yes. So after that, principles, I had to change my treatment principles. I stopped treating for viral fever, and I started my focus on SBBA guidelines of urinary tract infections. And with the first dose itself, with the very first dose of correct medicine, evidence-based medicine in science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda is not giving to 100 people looking for benefits and risk. Our evidence-based medicine is the medicine which is intended by the exact diagnostic and treatment principle of our science, intended for the situation. Okay, I hope I'm getting, you are getting me. It is not evidence-based medicine doesn't mean counting benefits and risk in Ayurveda. Evidence-based medicine means how you chose that medicine based on what diagnostic and treatment principle you are choosing this medicine for this particular subject. That is what evidence-based medicine is in Ayurveda. It is intended to be like that. Currently, it is not like that. So, I have changed the principle. I have started applying the urinary tract infection treatment principle for COVID-19 patient. And within one day, the patient started improving tremendously. You can, I think Dr. Priyanka is very active on FB. You can inquire. She herself had propagated also for the sake of humanity. She is doing lot of service. Only thing, her excitement is over. So sometimes she feels that online treatment can be possible. But Dr. Priyanka, I hope you are listening to me also. So the thing is that after 2 or 3 days when we repeated CRP, it was around 100. It came down. Not only CRP, all the other parameters. His liver function was abnormal. It also came down. All these things. I didn't give any medicine for liver. I gave only just one medicated water and pinches of one medicine only. Just imagine. Patient was on a long list of steroids, antibiotics, so many medicines, powerful medicines. All these were stopped and just one pinch. You can imagine the difference. How much prosperity will be acquired by our nation if people start recovering by pinches of medicine. With one tablet, one person is recovering from infective fever means just imagine the cost economy of India. We will become a developed nation very soon with COVID-19 itself after people recover. So what I mean to say is that with this pinches of medicine, medicated water, scientific diet, and thank God, great God. So Dr. Priyanka was monitoring and reporting everything, and CRP came down to normal, I think within 2 weeks, if my memory is right. I am having all the reports with me. So such a situation was possible in her case. That is the only case which I treated of COVID-19. And yes, one more case I treated in Italy, Francisca. Francisca sent me a message. She is an FB friend of mine. She is an Ayurveda, I think, technician. So technician there in Italy. She knows some things about diet and all. Like at least she knows about red rice and all, I think. So she was on a very pity condition. She didn't check for COVID positive or negative, but she was in that red zone, as she told me, and all her relatives and she herself was down. So afterwards, by the nutritional guidelines, within one day, I guided her over afternoon. Next morning itself, she reported that she is absolutely fine, no fever, without paracetamol. She was taking paracetamol for long. So this kind of nutritional guidelines, nutritional amendment itself will cause miracles, miracle recovery. It's not a miracle, it is actually science itself. So such a kind of science is unknown to modern world. So I call it a miracle. It's not miracle. We have to raise our intelligence. We have to raise our common sense. People can be educated the right things in Ayurveda only if Ayurveda doctors themselves are getting educated. So right now Ayurveda doctors think that they are helping people online. If you are not doing the right things, if you are not doing the intended things, if you are doing things by mixing with modern medicine, which means if you are asking them to continue modern drugs, along with it you are adding some medicines, all these are not scientific Ayurveda treatment. And this is not even treatment, this is cheating only, not treatment. So if you want to treat a patient, ultimately the objective of treatment in Ayurveda is tadhaiva yuktam bhaishajyam yadarogyaya kalpade sachaiva bhishajam sreshto rogebhyo ya pramochet. Tadhaiva yuktam bhaishajyam yadarogyaya kalpade. Treatment in Ayurveda is meant to produce health. Okay, Sachaiva Bhishajam Sreshto, Bishak or scientific practitioner of Ayurveda is not meant to suppress or control any disease. What he is meant for? Roge bhyoya pramoche. one who is releasing patients from all diseases and establishing or installing health in the subject. Such a person is called as Bhishak. Bhishak means scientific practitioner of Ayurveda. So this is possible only by science-based, evidence-based Ayurveda. So to convey this message, I have joined you on FB Live, and if you are having any doubts, you may put. I am not going to delete this video. If FB, as long as FB doesn't delete, it will stay on FB itself. You can watch it, you can ask questions, and one thing, last but not the least, direct help of SBABA will be immensely beneficial for all of you, for all your conditions, and I am sure SBABA practitioners who are confident, who are learning, who are actively learning, they will be always looking forward to serve you in any part of India and any part of world. We are having trainees from different parts of the world also. I would say I would surrender to God for that. So with this message, I am winding up today. I pray, sincerely pray that God save the world, and SBABA will be taken up one day by Ministry of Health or Government of India for the benefit of people, and I am sure by that decision of government itself, India would stay as a proud nation in effective healthcare among global nations of the world. Thank you very much.